From the depths of ashes are we supposed to rise? Well, how do you rise when you know nothing about the world you have been returned to? Sometimes time forgets. I have to remember that word. My thoughts were jumbled along with my senses. My voice is too low. The fluid shifted and bubbles did something against my face. I was shaky from my time in stasis. My muscles were so weak I could barely stand. I was finding it hard to remember I shivered from the thought of that mare. I should try that again. I blinked and stopped. The pink figure was starting to take shape, but not to the point where there were any real words are hard. Just as I finished that thought, hoof steps reached my ears from a catwalk above the pods. A full-size stallion galloped at top speed through the room along the suspended observation observer. I said that weird. Just as I finished that thought, hoof steps reached my ears from a catwalk above the pods. A full-size stallion galloped at top speed through the room along the... Why can't I get that word? That word is not that hard. He was wearing a visor covering his eyes completely. It had some sort of specialized output from a pip-buck hooked into it, and I didn't say that right. It had some sort of specialized output from a pip-buck hooked into it. A thick wire with metal tubing ran from his foreleg to the visor, taped to keep him from... I just can't get through this freaking line. It had some sort of specialized output from a pip-buck hooked... Frick! It had some sort of specialized output from a pip-buck hooked into it. A thick wire with metal tubing ran from his foreleg to the visor, taped to keep him from tripping up. I just can't get that fucking word right. A thick wire with metal tubing ran from his foreleg to the visor, taped to keep it from tripping him up. He slid to a halt as soon as he saw me. And I finally got the fucking line right. The armor was painted blue with yellow stripes, where it wasn't blown into pieces and charred black, and I should do that again. The pink entity faded from view as I stepped over the pony leg-shaped armor plating. Plating? What's a plating? I don't know. I'm trying to say a different word. The pink entity faded from my view as I stepped over and there's lots of noise going on right now. The pink entity faded from my view as I... Really? He just will not stop coughing in his sleep, and it's really annoying. It keeps interrupting my takes. I didn't look back, only rushed forward on the long... Fuck! The pink entity faded from view as I stepped over the pony leg-shaped armor plating. The Stable-Tech jumpsuit... Stoot? What's a stoot? My hooves carried me through the hole into blackness. Something wet touched my face and washed over my nose as the blackness was pushed back by a dim light. I should really breathe more often. My hooves carried me on through the darkness, and I really should actually read what I'm saying. They only started to move when I touched them. My hind legs were resting against a foreleg. Phooey, I was so close to finishing that line. The pink-striped zebra was pristine, while the black swirl-striped one had a three-pronged... The pink-striped zebra was pristine, while the black swirl-striped one had a three-pronged claw scar across his chest. And I said that weird. The pink-striped zebra was pristine, while the black swirl-striped one had three-pronged claw... That is such an awkward word that I don't know how to do this right. I started to grumble out loud. Blech. I lifted my right hoof and looked at my pip-buck, pausing for a few moments as the emerald gleam... Gleam? What's a gleam? I don't know what a gleam is. I lifted my right hoof and looked at my pip-buck, pausing for a further. I lifted my right hoof and looked at my pip-buck, pausing for a few moments as an I need to take a break. Cursed the cardboard shipping container next to one of the zebras, and I should do that differently. The box moved to get out of the shallow pool we were all standing in towards the edge of... That is really awkward. The box rolled like the pony inside had shrugged their shoulders. The box moved to get out of the shallow pool we were all standing in towards the edge of the... Jeez. The box rolled like some pony inside had shrugged their shoulders, and that's not the right word. The box moved to get out of the shallow pool we were all standing in, towards the edge around the... Why am I not getting this? As he flexed his wings, his matted white-tipped feathers clung to... Shoot. The room got a whole lot more tense when the zebra finally stroked. He didn't stroke, he spoke. The diamond dog was quick to forget all of us and jumped onto the landing instead. His focus and mind were Oh, okay, I misread that. He stated incredulously with a glare that could cut flesh. I should say that differently. The diamond dog pointed his paw at a large pile of metal pieces on the floor next to a green metal box Despite having the know-how, I hadn't ever I need to reword it. As the diamond dog resumed working on the door, the pony in the box, however, kept poking one of us after the other. That just seems such an awkward line. All I could gather from the inflections of their voices was that the black sprite bufoo. Funny enough, what little activity that was happening in here produced a I'm gonna take a break. Funny enough, what little activity that was happening in here produced a cacophony of strange noises blending together. A shuffling box, sand dog claws on steel, two distinctly different zebras speaking an alien tongue, my hooves working to piece together a pistol, and Funny enough, what little activity that was happening in here produced a cacophony of strange noises blending together. I should burn to breathe. The very next moment, and I cannot stress enough, all I could do was flinch as hundreds of small pieces of twisted metal pinged off the plates in my barding I had only noticed moments ago. Breathing is important. I became self-conscious of all eyes trained on me. Every pony expecting something of an explanation that I couldn't give, and I think that was too big of a pause. Funnily enough, the first one to react was the pink-striped zebra. He stepped towards us and stopped, taking his... He didn't take anything, he was talking. Buddy was clearly mustering all his strength, yet the door still refused to budge. His massive toned legs scraped the gray and black striped zebra mentioned in a monotone tenor. He wasn't terror, he was tenor. I resumed putting together weapons. First the knives, which were rather easy to do and only took a few minutes. They were simple... Of course that happens the second I hit record. Every pony belted... And of course the freaking heater starts. The smell hit first. The smell of decay, long since sealed up and made stale, washed over me. My hooves wanted me to get out of there. My hooves wanted me to get out of there ASAP, but my eyes, however, couldn't be torn away from the three bloated bodies. Bodies of ponies. 2 earth and 1... I need to get those numbers right. I was there long enough for the others to return, and everything within 5 hooves of me inside the pool had gone from clister career. I spat a few times into the water, then wiped my hoof. I didn't wipe my hoof clean, I wiped my mouth clean. The door's descent slowed somewhat, but it still wasn't stopping. I couldn't talk with my... I can't talk at all, even if I don't have a torch in my mouth. I couldn't talk with the torch in my mouth or to try and encourage them to hurry. And The box pony had a certainty to them. Why do I keep doing that? At that moment, the realization slammed into me like a brick wall. My jaws... Right, yeah. There was a creak as the door began to squeeze on the heavy timber. Alguacil Alguacil did something. I don't know what it was, though. There was a creak as the door began to squeeze on the heavy timber. Alguacil threw his shoulder into the... The wooden bar cracked louder. Splinters flooring... What is that? The pony in the box asked me with a poke of her white hoof. were the only coffee pot, annoying. The box pony sounded extra cheeky with her statement, like we should all know that already. Chifua, that is not his name,